Hey, what's up? Welcome to DGen Ed. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun looking at charts and going over data. And so I was not planning on putting out a video tonight, but I was looking over some data on GameStop in unusual whales, and it stood out to me. It does suggest that millions of dollars have gone long on GameStop today on March 6th. So I did want to go over that, but first I will start with the chart. And so, as I mentioned, recording this on March 6th, Thursday, after the close, and GameStop closed on the day at a price of $24.20, being down about 3.5% on the day, going up in the after hours as well as in the overnight trading, but really only by a few cents, so nothing too crazy there. But yeah, I wanted to follow up on GameStop because I've been feeling a little uneasy about what's going on in the markets, lots of volatility, and, just going over the data here today. And yeah, saw something that got me thinking that we might be seeing a bottom. And I have to say that the last time I put out a video on GameStop was on February 9th. That was just about a month ago. And in that video, in the title of that video, I mentioned that GameStop was to test Roaring Kitty's average before launching. And so, like I said, that was on February 9th. So if we do look over here, we can see that, Friday, it looks like, was February 7th. The 9th was Sunday before the market opened. Or maybe it was Monday. Maybe there was a holiday around there. But anyways, on February 10th, we see this big green candle up. And I had recorded that video when we had closed at, it looks like, a closing price on the 7th being 24.73. So I believe we do have that blue line marked there because that was a gap that we have since filled. And really, we have been consolidating right around that level. But anyways, from that day's close, right after I made a video about it going down, it went up about 16% to the high on February 14th, which was at a price of, let's see, $28.97. So at that time, I was talking about price coming down to $23.41, which I'm sure we're all aware of that being Roaring Kitty's average that he posted on his YOLO post on Reddit. And yeah, so anyways, 23.41, we basically got down there. So it looks like on March 4th, we came down to 23.44, nearly getting to that level just a couple days ago on Tuesday, I guess. And yeah, we bounced up a little bit, and I've been kind of impressed that GameStop has not dropped off more. Really, over the past few days, we haven't gotten to Roaring Kitty's level. Even if we do dip below it, I see some levels over here. It looks like the 786 from this retracement over here. I'm just going to make that a little bit thicker so it's easier to see. Yeah, from the big move to the upside there last May, April to May here, that retracement there. And then I got this purple, let's see, uptrend going back to the low from May 24th, as well as, I believe, the low from August 5th when the markets gapped down. And yeah, so that purple uptrend, I don't know how well you can see it, got lots of stuff going on here. I guess there's this, there's another uptrend. I think I might have just recently added this one. That's good. I'm going to make that one yellow so we can see it a little bit easier. But yeah, so that is going to the, looks like, low from September 20th, as well as the other pivot point being, I believe, the low from October 23rd. And yeah, I mean, we're finding that as support effectively. That trend line does coincide with Roaring Kitty's average. But if we do break lower, that 786, 2169, maybe one of the funnest levels on here. I remember that from like a year ago or, 8 months ago or so, whatever it was. Yeah, and let's see that purple uptrend. So still possibility that this could be going down more, but I find it pretty compelling that we got just a few pennies away from Roaring Kitty's average. What that post, we can all just look at it and refer to. Well, if that's Roaring Kitty's average, that I'm going to add there if we hit there. Maybe some of us are thinking that. I'm not necessarily. I'm just, trying to think about what other people are thinking about. And so, anyways, yeah, I mean, I feel like maybe we're at a bottom. And then if I look over at the unusual whales data, this is just, a bunch of contracts I try to look at every day just to follow up on them. And so with this one, this is the GameStop $80 call that expires in June. And, there wasn't actually anything that stood out to me about this contract. I like to look at this data over here, the premium data. So I'm just going to expand that so we can look at it bigger picture. And the thing that I've been realizing about this premium data is if you see, let's see, net put premium over here, the red line, ended the day over $1 million up. And so that makes me think that people are buying puts, and over here with the green line coming down, net call premium going down, that makes me think people are selling calls. That's down more than $3 million. So, I'm just looking at this and I'm thinking, this is bearish because we've got, $1 million going positive on net put premium, green net call premium, negative 3 million. That's a range of $4,000, all seeming pretty bearish. We look at the bear bull slider here. It looks bearish. But the thing that's different about the call premium here than the put premium up here, the put premium, it's fairly gradual and, just goes up to $1 million. Whereas the net call premium is not gradual. There are these big drops, $1 million drops in that net call premium. And so we can kind of see, looking at this, the red line going up, those are smaller positions. They're not whales. They're not changing this data by $1 million. But these big drops here are, so we can look at those contracts to see, are they actually selling calls or are they perhaps buying calls? And I should note too, I am learning unusual whales as I make these videos, getting more and more familiar with it every day. So, it's quite possible my interpretation of this could be incorrect, but I do believe that these do represent actually buys of calls, and I will provide some evidence for why I think that. And I should note too that, the yellow line is the stock price for the day. Sorry if I didn't mention that. But yeah, so we're just going to look at the, let's see, the net call premium here at this time when it dropped. And so that was right around 11:33 a.m. And then so if I go over to custom flow, I've already sorted this or I've already organized it, just typed up here, GameStop. So that's all that we're seeing. And then I limited it to only contracts that were executed today. And just above Ed's head, you can see that the minimum premium that I'm looking at there, that got the cursor there as the comma, about $100,000 as that minimum. And so all of these orders here are, the premium here is more than $100,000. So that makes me, gives me, these are all the big orders, that I want to be paying attention to. If I'd filter by $1 million, I wouldn't see any of these. So if I just add a 0 over here, I wouldn't see any of them because there was no one trade executed with a premium of over $1 million. But there were plenty above 100,000. And like I had mentioned, coming back to here, this drop in that net call premium was right around 11:33. So let's look here over at the time to look at around 11:33, and we can see there are some contracts here that look like we've got this little signal there. This trade was part of a flow alert. Click for full context. We can learn more about that. We also see this exclamation point, and this says the daily volume on the chain is higher than the current open interest. And so that's a pretty important point. But just so looking at all of these contracts here, this is all the $29 strike call that expires April 17th of 2025. So a little over a month from now. I believe that's the monthly contract for April. And 41 days to expiration. We can see that here. So we got all of that data there. And also, I guess there's an exclamation point here with a caution sign thing around it, and the triangle. And so the size of the trade exceeds the current open interest. The size of these trades will be in purple. Okay, so, this is, okay, here, right here, size. 1203 right there. So anyways, this is all the same contract. And hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe this adds up to around $1 million. So if I do click on the date here, I'll pull up that one individual contract, and we can see here this big candle. And I think I actually need to get Ed out of the way for this. Sorry, I think he blocked some of the data. So looking at this big candle, we can see we got that alert just above it. Volume has exceeded open interest. And the volume for this, I should say, the candle premium here is over $1 million. It looks like it's 1.3, almost $1.4 million. And let's see. What else do we want to look at from that box? Let's see. Here, daily volume, we can actually just scroll down here to the table or just look down there. The open interest prior to this candle was 1,133 contracts open. But then if we look at the volume for the day, that exceeds that open interest. That's why we got this alert. And so while we do see the green line come down here, it makes me think that calls are being sold. They could have only been bought here because we see open interest of 1,133, the maximum amount that could be sold at that time, excusing these maybe buys before there, if there were some buys there, would have to be around, or no more than, let's say 1,200 contracts. But we see this volume of nearly 9,000, so that has to be buying, as far as I understand it. And so that suggests that today, this total premium that we saw of $1.4 million, that is more than likely going along on GameStop, going along on this contract, which again, I believe I mentioned it, the $29 strike call that expires April 17th of 2025, so just a month from now. And so, yeah, this strikes me as being kind of bullish, so I'm excited about that. And then if we look at, this other drop here, if we line that cursor up right around that drop, that is, right around 3 p.m., and that's going to be Eastern, I believe, 2:59 to 3. We see this pretty big drop there, and it looks like the, the net call premium before the drop was 1.1, or wait, let me see. Yeah, 1.1 million. And then when it drops, sorry, I was reading the net put premium. Sorry about that. The net call premium was negative 1.35 million, and then it drops to negative 3.10 million. So that's a pretty big drop there. $1 million, over $1 million, nearly $2 million drop there at 3 o'clock. So let's look over here, look at the data. We do have a lot of contracts here at 3, and it looks like these are also calls. And we've got, both of them expiring, believe it or not, in 2027 with the expiration date of January 15th. So almost 2 years, almost 700 days between now and expiration. And so that's the $55 strike and the $40 strike. So, all of these contracts that we're looking at are betting, as far as, assuming that they're being bought, are betting on GameStop going up. So if we look at these two contracts, let's look at the one that's a little more conservative, the $40 strike. Let's look at that one first. And so if we look at the data here, kind of just exactly like what I did with that other contract, if we just look at the information here, the open interest for today, at the start of today, was 871 contracts. But then we see a volume well over double that, almost, 3 times that open interest. Oops. And so that does suggest to me that this was buying. It's going long, even though we see that net call premium coming down. You couldn't be selling that many contracts. You couldn't be selling 2,353 contracts with an open interest of 871. It's just not possible. So there has to be buying there. And the total premium for this trade, $1.7 million, total premium for the day. So some going in, some going out, but total premium traded today, $1.7 million. And, that candle premium here, $1.7 million. So I feel like that's also going long, just like the one over here. But then if I do look at that other contract with the $55 strike, look over here, we can see that's just, one big candle there, open interest at the start of the day, 493 contracts open, volume, quite a bit larger than that open interest. And so, nearly 5 times the open interest. So that suggests to me that this has to have been buying. And we see here $1.4 million. So it looks like we've been seeing millions of dollars going long on GameStop today. And, if we look over at the chart and stuff, we're just above Roaring Kitty's average, less than $1 above his average. So, I should be cautious, though. I should, mention good to be exercising caution. We did see a downside move here followed by consolidation, could be a bear flag. And one thing that we could do to kind of get an idea of where price could be going, just taking, from the top here to the bottom here, or approximate bottom, and then up to the top there. So this distance here is the same as the distance from here. And so that's coming down to around $20 a share. So could we be coming down to $21.69, $22, somewhere around there? Or, could we even be coming down to $20? Sure, definitely possible. But it's also possible that we could be getting teased with, the price being so close to Roaring Kitty's average right now, for it to not cross that level. And for this to, like I suggested in the other video, before it starts to launch. So yeah, the data over here makes me think that there's been millions of dollars going along on GameStop. Some of it with it expiring, just a month from now, which is, more than $1 million expecting that. And then aside from that, millions of dollars expecting price to go up to 40 to 55 between now and, a couple of years from now. So yeah, I don't know. That makes me think that people were buying the fear today. And, that's exactly, what we're supposed to be doing when there's blood in the streets. And so I don't know that there's blood in the streets just yet, but I think there's a lot of fear. And this just seems like, the data that we're seeing in Unusual Whales seems like it's pretty appealing. So yeah, anyways, I'm excited about that. It's been a long day at work. I was not planning on doing this, but I wanted to share, as always, those are just my thoughts. And if you found them helpful, make sure you like the video, share your thoughts in the comments down below, and make sure you subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thanks a lot. Have a great Friday trading, and tune in tomorrow for pre-market prep if you'd like to join, get my perspective before the market opens. Anyways, take care, you guys.